Okay. All right, guys. Just to let you know, a recording has started. So this session is now recorded. So, guys, as per the topic of discussion. So previously we've discussed basics and fundamentals of business analyst, project and product life cycle. Okay. Today we are supposed to discuss software development life cycle, software testing life cycle. So before I get into that and give you more insight about what is SDLC, what is STLC. So I want to understand your, you know, perspective, your insight in terms of SDLC and STLC. So yes, guys, please let me know what's your understanding in terms of software development lifecycle. Yes, guys. Anyone? Yes, no, maybe.
Software development lifecycle consists of planning, design, deployment, testing, and then repeat of it, then support. And we follow this to accomplish our goals to build the software or website or the project.
Okay. What else? Yes, guys. Anybody else? Okay. In fact,
It's a
let me go ahead.
cycle. Sorry,
Yes,
it's
yes.
it's a cycle like yesterday you told about product life cycle. So it's a kind of same. Like it yesterday it was for a product and today you ask for software. So it's kind of same life cycle. We need to research, plan, and they need to follow all the steps. And at end we need to do the testing, then deployment of the project of the software.
Take it. Yes, absolutely, guys. Uh, I mean, this is what, a software development life cycle is all about, wherein from the vague level, from the high level, if you want to understand, it is planning, design, development, testing, deployment, and of course the support and maintenance. Okay, so let's have a look on this. I'm sure, guys, you all can see my screen. It's visible, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the very first step, it is all about planning and requirement analysis, or let's say planning. Okay. So what happens is that first of all, software development lifecycle, it is once the client is onboarded, once let's say you are my manager and you said, "Ki, ठीक है, Rohit, there's a project and we are allocating you as a project manager in this ABC project and now you are aligned." ठीक है, ये project हमें मिला है and we are allocating you as a project manager. So this is the process. This is the cycle that starts once the client is onboarded. Then we'll do the planning, we'll do the design, development, testing, deployment, and of course the maintenance. Okay. So what actually happens in design? I'm sorry, in planning. तो planning में क्या होता है? ठीक है. Planning में, of course, let's say let's say Rajeshi, you are the CTO or CEO. You said ki, Rohit, you have been assigned this project as a project manager. Please start working. So थोड़ी ना कि I'll just uh, anonymously or randomly do whatever that is thing that is needed in terms of planning and requirement analysis. I'll just start. No, I'll ask for artifacts. I'll ask for referential documents. I'll ask for business requirement document. I'll ask for some sort of uh, project scope, in scope and out scope. I'll ask for documents. Please provide me some documents so that I can refer to them in terms of understanding what exactly do we need to start. Okay, so that is where the planning part comes into the picture. Okay, जहाँ पे we define what is the project scope, what are the objectives, what are the feasibilities, what are the business and technical requirements. Guys, project scope, ठीक है, project scope. Guys, can anybody tell me what do you understand with project scope? Just by the sake of, just reading to it as a word. Anybody?
To what aspects it can be developed, maybe.
I'm sorry, what? Shaheen?
To what aspects it has the probability and chances of being developed to.
What aspects? Are you talking about the risk, constraints, assumptions, or dependencies?
Yeah, everything. Like it's like overall aspects to which it could be changed or updated
Sure.
for the
And
betterment.
I know that you have worked. So if this is project scope, then what do you mean by a scope creep? मैं थोड़ा आगे की terms में जा रहा हूँ. But do you have an understanding, Shine, in terms of scope creep?
Not to that extent, but I have worked in dashboard development,
Not an
so
issue, not an
towards
issue.
that we, yeah.
देखो जो आपने बोला that is one of the part of it. ठीक है. जब हम एक प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं, when we start a project, when we plan a project, when we define a project, when we work on a project, we define some sort of scope. What is scope? Guys, you can hear me, right?
Is
Yeah.
it something which is
Yes.
doable, like we can give to the client, or like
नहीं नहीं.
Rohit,
देखो,
Scope
let's talk
is
I
about
think
The goal
it's the
of
work that
the
needs to be done.
yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
What to do
हाँ
and
जी,
what not.
or we can say that what needs to be delivered.
absolutely, absolutely. हाँ जी, Lakan bhai, you were saying something?
yes. As per my understanding, the project scope refers to the means what this kind of project will achieve, and what kind of the deliverance we can give, and what constraint and assumptions it will associate with. So that kind of
बिल्कुल,
something.
बिल्कुल. हाँ जी, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this is what project scope is all about. Let's take an example. This training and placement program. ठीक है, this is a one project. ठीक है, let's say I am the project manager and you all are working alongside with me. So, from my understanding, from your understanding, with this project, what is the scope and what is the project scope? Project scope means your training happens on time before the due date, provided that you have been cascaded and communicated the insight and information about being a
Not
business
getting your
analyst.
audio.
Sorry? Rajat bhai, are you speaking? Are you saying
No.
something?
No.
Okay. So project scope for this project would be that you, for the sake of training, you are able to understand the information and insight have been cascaded and communicated to you in such a way that you are able to justify that you are a experienced business analyst and you are able to appear and align the interview and you are able to clear the interview and get your placement done and background check clear. So this is the project scope. Coming back to the software development, so project scope means whatever or what are all the in scope and out scope features, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, as is features and to be features. Okay. Requirement before expectations and requirements after expectations. That is known as project scope. And that is why I said scope creep. Scope creep means whatever the project scope, whatever the sprint scope, okay, that we have defined and designed, some challenge, some problem, some escalation, some issue has occurred, which is hampering us in order to achieve the project or sprint scope. Okay, so this is known as project scope. So we will define the project scope during planning and requirement analysis, wherein we will connect with the client, we will create the business requirement document, we will create the project scopes, we'll create the revised business requirement document, we'll create the necessary documentation, okay, wherein we'll define that, okay, these are the business objectives, business requirements, business needs, and this is the feasibility analysis. Feasibility analysis by key, by whatever client is expecting, are we able to do it within the obligation of our technology? Or do we need to do the freelance work? Do we need to outsource the services? So that is what feasibility is, wherein we are identifying the business and technical requirements. Clients give us business requirements. From the technical and software requirements specifications purpose, we will accommodate those business requirements in technical requirements so that we can create the final project planning in order to define the real-time user experience and user interface, which is UI and UX in the next interface. I'm sorry, in the next step, which is known as design. Under design, we'll try to create the architecture and design specifications, wherein not only design requires in order us to create the I would say the UI UX, the wireframes, the prototypes, the user stories, the use cases, and along with all the data flows, wherein we would be able to groom our developers, testers, designers, that this is what needs to be designed, this is what needs to be developed, this is what needs to be tested. So we'll do the documentation accordingly as per the requirements of planning that we have done. Then comes the development phase, wherein wherein will in the development, the front end development, back end database, we create the codes accordingly, we create the queries accordingly, and then we'll with the front end we'll connect and integrate the back end so that the feature and functionality would appear जो हम final expectations client को देंगे at the time of sprint demo. So this is what we are going to show it to the client, that this is the front end, which is UI UX. This is the back end, which is the database, and this is how it is actioning and reactioning. This is how it is behaving as per the acceptance criteria in the dev environment, in the development environment. Once that development environment is done, then we do the testing, manual testing and automation testing. Okay. Developers, they do the unit testing. Manual testers, they start with the functional testing with test cases and regression testing with regression packs. And once it is done, then pre-prod testing, or I would say stage environment testing, or it is system integration testing, and then finally user acceptance testing. In order to find as many bugs as possible, so that once we are doing the UAT before the deployment, the sprint, the epic, the project, the feature and its functionality should work as per the expectations, as per what client is expecting in the live environment. Okay. Once testing is done, functional requirements testing is manual testing, and non-functional requirements testing is automation testing. So once this is done, then we do the deployment. Okay. Under deployment, we create the release notes. Okay. As per the release notes, we upload them in Confluence, so that let's say today's what, 7th of August. आज 7 तारीख है, 10 तारीख को हमारा स्प्रिंट डेमो है और UAT है. तो today or tomorrow at max, I will create all the release notes and I will publish it to the client. I will send it to the client so that the client would be able to, understand the wireframes and prototypes and the steps, that this is what we are going to show it to the client and groom it to the client, so that they would be able to understand beforehand that this is what they have given the requirement, and this is what it will be in the live environment once deployment is done. Okay, so that's what we do. And then, of course, once the deployment is done, then we'll do the support and maintenance, wherein if after successful delivery, client is facing an issue, they can connect with us via you know customer service, tech support, call, chat, mail, so that we can resolve their issue or their problem if they're facing any. So this is from the high level software development life cycle is all about. जहाँ पे as a business analyst, as a product team member, you are involved in planning, design, development, testing, deployment. ठीक है? Any question, any doubt, any ambiguity, any issues in terms of software development life cycle? Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe anything.
All good.
ठीक है?
Not from
Uh,
my side, Rohit.
Rohit,
Yes, someone was saying something. Any doubt?
yes. Rohit, in like in pre-sales and planning, can we say that pre-sales and planning are much more interconnected, or once the pre-sales is over, then only the planning would start, if we categorize?
Vanshika, pre-sales is something else. That is why
Okay,
I specifically mentioned that once the client is onboarded, then we start the planning, design, development, deployment, and maintenance.
so
तो
as
यहाँ
a
पे
business analyst, our work would start from pre-sales also and from planning also, right? If I'm not wrong.
yes, I mean the way I train you, I want you to justify and say that you are involved in pre-sales
Okay,
part. तो
okay,
pre-sales में it's a bit different. ठीक है, जहाँ
okay,
पे
okay.
there is a sales and marketing team who gives you a lead. ठीक है, जब when I used to work as a product owner, so from the product team, I was also involved in the pre-sales. लेकिन pre-sales में not in terms of lead generation, वो sales वालों का काम है, वो business consultant का काम है. Once the lead is concrete, then my work starts. Then I create the RFI, RFP, RFQ documents. यानी कि request for information, request for proposal, and request for quotation. ठीक है? Which is known as the proposals, proposed documents, initial business requirement documents. ठीक है? And then client says, okay, good to go, let's carry on, let's start. So then the software development life cycle, project life cycle, I'm sorry, software development life cycle, software testing life cycle, it starts. ठीक है?
Okay,
Once
got
you
it.
kind
So
of,
in a concise manner, we can say that in RFP, in RFI, in RFQ, as a BA, we are involved in those processes, and then once the client confirms, then we come up with planning, designing, development, testing, deployment, support, maintenance, right?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
मैं बताऊंगा
Okay.
आपको ये आगे वाले आने वाले इवेंचुअल सेशंस में
Okay.
कि
Okay.
RFI, RFP, RFQ. लेकिन RFQ is very tricky. RFQ
Okay.
is very sensitive and critical. ठीक है, वो बड़ी हाई लेवल रिक्वायरमेंट होती है जिसको हम बोलते हैं रिक्वेस्ट फॉर कोटेशन. ठीक है, दो तरह की
Okay.
कोटेशंस होती हैं. एक जब हम बिडिंग के टाइम पे करते हैं क्लाइंट को ऑनबोर्ड करने के लिए, हमारी किटी में आने के लिए. अब जैसे वंशिका, यू आर अ क्लाइंट and you are looking for a e-commerce platform and you say my budget is $20,000 US dollars. So I bid you ki, okay, Vanshika, whatever your requirement is, whatever the request for information that you have given, whatever the request for proposal that we have given to you, okay, this is meeting and we'll give you more features along with 3 years of support and maintenance. So I can give you in $18,000 or $15,000. ठीक है, good to go. You agreed. All right. Then we carry on. Then you are onboarded. Then the quotation comes in the project planning. in project planning, we do the work breakdown structure, जहाँ पे as per the billable hours, as per the production hours that you have allocated to us, we will do the work breakdown structure in such a way that हम अपना प्रॉफिट भी उससे निकाल पाए, सैलरी हम सारे प्रोजेक्ट टीम मेंबर्स को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर पाए, बफर रख पाए, पेनल्टी रख पाए एंड कंस्ट्रेंट्स के लिए हम थोड़ा बजट बचा के रखें सो दैट इफ इट requires more time and more budget, then we can accommodate. तो वो एक RFQ अलग होता है, लेकिन for the sake of pre-sales, it is just the bidding part. ठीक है? So you are an active participant, not individually, but as a team wise, because usually it is being done by the product owner. ठीक है? Vanshika and all. Any question, any doubt, any ambiguity, any issues as of now? And you guys, yes, no, maybe.
No, Rohit bhai.
ठीक है. Then, guys, Abhi, I know there are people who are from, I mean, maximum I know from staffing, but there are people who are from hotel management, hospitality industry. There are people who are from education industry. There are people from pharmaceutical industry, and of course the staffing people. They all know about this. Okay, I know these terminologies, these jargons. It looks and it sounds like alien and Greek to you, but yes, believe me and trust me. Once eventually when we start and carry on and in between and by the end, you would be able to solve the puzzle. You would be able to crack all these terminologies in such a way that you would be able to justify your answers accordingly during the interviews. ठीक है, लेकिन अभी trust me, अभी इसको होने दो, let it go. Just try to be active and just try to go through with the recording once, and I'm sure you would be able to understand. पहले धीरे धीरे theoretical में चलेंगे, फिर धीरे धीरे practical में चलेंगे. ठीक है, weekdays में मेरे session, weekend में आकाश के session, then you would be able to grab it quite easily. ठीक है, so अभी थोड़ा let it go, let it happen, and I'm sure that you would be able to get it as soon as possible. ठीक है, so once SDLC is covered, then we carry on with the software testing life cycle. Okay. Okay, let's do one thing. Just by the sake of, I have highlighted. Okay. Just from the sake of just watching it, guys, can you tell me what is your understanding in terms of software testing life cycle? Anybody? Yes, guys. Yes, guys, I want to understand your perspective. So what do you understand with software testing lifecycle? Anyone, guys?
So there
I'm
is
waiting.
requirement analysis, and then we
Mhm.
do test planning, then we do test designing, execution, and then the closure.
Hey, of course, this is what it is all about. But what actually happens in testing life cycle? क्या होता है? I mean, कौन बोल रहा था? Can you please name yourself, भाई?
Yes, Shivesh.
Sure. Shivesh, let's do one thing. Shivesh, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. If I ask you, you have to do a testing and you have to perform a testing for this chat button. ये देख लो chat button.
हाँ जी.
ठीक है. So पहले आप मुझे ये बताइए what is the user interface and user experience, or let's say what is the functionality of this feature. ये क्या करता है chat button? बस I mean, what exactly is the main
Enables
function of it?
yeah, it enables to send messages and understand the messages for the other party.
ठीक है. That means if I click on it, it will give me this interface, a navigation pane on the right hand side, wherein I would be able to write characters like this, like this and like this, which is alphabets, special character, numbers, and all together. Uppercase, lowercase, along with fonts and formatting, along with emoticons, along with ये क्या है loop components are ये, along with attachments. I can also do attachments. Okay, and then I can click on this button and I can say hi, Shivesh, and then I press enter. So this is the feature and its functionality, right? I mean, this is what exactly it
Yes,
does.
absolutely.
And there is more to it. It has a functionality that whatever that I am typing, it is after entering and submitting it, all the participants in the meeting, they are able to see it as it is. Correct?
Yes, that is the scenario. Exactly.
So now tell me, how will you do the testing? अब जैसे मैंने करी वैसे ही तो करोगे आप testing. So this is known as software testing life cycle from the manual testing perspective. Okay, which means I click on the button, I use the features, not only this, this, or this. Okay, I will use this, I will use this, I will use this, I will use this, and I will use this. And once it is giving the rightful behavior, I will make it pass. If it is not giving me the rightful behavior, I will make it fail. And I will escalate it to the developer so that they can they can identify the issue, they can validate the issue, they can verify the issue, they can resolve the issue, and again I'll check the issue and then I'll put it on the pass option. So this is what a software testing lifecycle is all about. Okay, so if I go into that and I'll let you know, so you'll find the same thing: requirement analysis, test planning, test case development, test environment setup, execution, and test cycle closer, which means we need to understand and analyze test requirements. यानी कि whatever the user stories. अच्छा, एक चीज मैं बताता हूँ guys, as a business analyst you create a user story. ठीक है? User stories, they are for developers so that they can develop it accordingly. User stories are for designers so that from the user stories they can see the wireframes and they can design it. The user stories are for testers so that they can create a test case accordingly so that they can start the manual testing. Okay, this is exactly what is the main difference. जैसे during the interviews ये बहुत important question आता है जो you will get to know later. ठीक है रोहित, you said कि you are a business analyst. So what is the difference between user story, use case, and test case? Okay, so what is the answer to it? Let me ask it to some people who are giving interviews. Oh, Kamlesh. Kamlesh, can you hear me, bhai? Kamlesh, bhai. Deepak. Deepak, can you hear me?
Yes, Rohit bhai, I can.
So Deepak, my question to you is, what is the difference between user story, use case, and test case?
Okay, so user story is simply, how user will use the software and the product. The every functions of the software, we need to create the stories as per, that if he click on this button, so that interface will become like this, as per the user perspective. And I don't know about use case, but test case is something where when we test the software, so we made this document where we write.
इस एग्जांपल के हिसाब से समझाओ आप. Chat button is the feature. अब बताओ what is the user story, what is the use case and what is the test case.
ओके, तो चैट बटन जैसे मैं चैट बटन की यूजर स्टोरी बनाता हूँ, तो सबसे पहले हम इसे अलग अलग पार्ट पे डिवाइड करेंगे कि अगर चैट बटन पे मैं डायरेक्ट क्लिक करता हूँ तो क्या होता है और क्या होना चाहिए, और then अगर मैं इस पे लेफ्ट क्लिक करता हूँ तो क्या होता है, लाइक दिस.
ठीक है. थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे जा रहे हो लेकिन सही डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हो. बताओ.
देन अगर मैं इस पे कुछ टाइप करता हूँ, लाइक मैं अल्फाबेट टाइप करता हूँ, तो क्या वो एग्जैक्टली हो रहे हैं और क्या आना चाहिए. अगर मैं स्पेशल कैरेक्टर यूज करता हूँ तो क्या आना चाहिए, एंड अगर मैं एंटर करता हूँ तो किस फॉर्म में आना चाहिए, लाइक अगर मैं उसे डिलीट करता हूँ तो क्या रहना चाहिए, लाइक दिस. और मैं कितने चैट कर सकता हूँ, ये सारी चीजें मुझे
ये आपकी यूजर स्टोरी हो गई ना.
हाँ.
तो यूज केस क्या हुआ?
यूज केस लाइक जब सॉफ्टवेयर है तो क्या वो एज पर जैसे हमने उसकी यूजर स्टोरीज क्रिएट करी थी वैसे ही काम कर रहा है या नहीं.
ठीक है, गुड टू गो. टेस्ट केस क्या हुआ?
टेस्ट केस सिमिलर, लाइक फिर हम उसे टेस्ट कर रहे हैं प्रॉपर अलग अलग पार्ट्स पे अलग अलग मेथड से.
ठीक है. सम एक्सटेंट 50% ठीक हो आप. थोड़ा और एग्जाम्पल वाइज और अच्छे से समझाना है हमें. हाँ जी सिद्धार्थ भाई, यू वर सेइंग समथिंग.
Rohit, can I try?
हाँ जी पूजा प्लीज.
So Rohit, as a user, I'm talking about user story. So as a user, I want to share some information via text to you. So basically, I'll type something so that you can read. So talking about user case, there will be steps like I need to deliver a message. So I will, what will be the steps? First, I will click on the type message button and then I'll type something and then I'll click on send button. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. What about test cases?
Rohit bhai,
No, I
was
don't have idea about test case.
हाँ जी सिद्धार्थ भाई. No issue पूजा.
yeah, I was just saying that test scenario is like more like that. What we have to test, and a test case is what to test. Like in a scenario, we will check that whether the login functionality is about functionality. Like it's a login page, so we have to check whether the functionalities we have we have fields, all the fields are there, and in this case we will check that features, about the features, is it working or not.
ठीक है. हाँ जी प्रखर भाई.
Rohit bhai, user story is always written by the perspective of user. So, like in this chat example scenario, so how will the user use the chat function? He will first click on the chat button, then chat box should open. Then that person will, type in this message or use emojis, or he can use special characters. So user story will be written in such way that in order to get the acceptance criteria for that function from user's perspective, like it should get the work done basically. Another example can be like we have e-commerce examples like wish list or add to cart features, wherein like in wish list customer wants to buy it later or some like after some time, so he will simply click on the wish list function and that item will be kept in the wish list for him. So for this use case will be the different possibilities that how will the system behave. Like there can be possibilities when the system will fail to do the required task. There can be possibilities when the system will not behave correctly or will behave correctly, or it may give an error if the internet connection goes off. So you use cases can be that. And this test cases is basically, it is written in such way that all the possibilities of how the system can be tested are written. Like I said earlier, if internet goes off, what error will the system give? If internet is working and if the user clicks on the chat button and he is writing and some alphabets are not showing up, or it hangs or something like that. So that is test cases. We have to test it accordingly, and if it goes all fine, then it will be given a pass. And if it is it fails somewhere, like if emoji is not showing, or the user is clicking the emoji or making special characters and it is not showing in the chat box or to the other person, or it is not even sending, then that is a fail for that test scenario.
Okay. Yes, yes. I mean, yes, guys. I mean, whatever that you have mentioned, that is what user story, use case, and test case is all about. Okay, देखो. User stories are written in order to empathize the user, live user. Empathy मतलब समझते हो ना? Putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. ठीक है? So मैं अगर business analyst हूँ, तो मैं अपने हिसाब से user story नहीं लिख रहा. I am writing down the user story that as a customer, I want to click on chat button so that I can see the interface wherein I can use the chat option. As a customer, I want to enter alphabets, numbers, special characters, and all together so that I can press enter and it would be visible to all my participants. So this is a user story, which means simple from the perspective of user, a live user who would be able to use the feature and get the reaction. Who would be able to use the feature and get the rightful functionality and successful behavior. Mota mota, this is the user story. Then comes use case. Use cases are those steps which are written from the perspective of system. भाई आपका system, software requirement specification, system requirement specification, कि system को वो क्या क्या चीज चाहिए और system how it will behave and react in such a way that it will give us the rightful behavior as per the requirement and as per the expectations or as per the acceptance criteria. ठीक है? यानी कि use case would be I click on chat. I am able to enter numbers. Okay. Enter. I am able to enter alphabets. Okay. Enter. I am able to enter special characters. Okay. Enter. I am able to enter all three of them together. Enter. Okay. I am able to click on emoticons. I can press this and enter. Okay. I will use all the emoticons. Okay. Good to go. I would be able to use the file. All right, good to go as an attachment. And then I press enter. So these are the use cases, how my system is responding and giving me the rightful behavior. This is use case. Test cases are written from the perspective of testers, manual testers, so that they can find n number of bugs to make the system bugless so that it will give us the actual output which is equal to expected output. Expected output क्या है? कि whatever that I am typing, it should be able to enter. So I will test whatever that I am able to type and enter. And I will check if it is giving the rightful or not. Rightful, take a screenshot लिया, test case pass. So this is the motor difference between user story, use case, and test case. From the perspective of software testing life cycle. क्योंकि जब भी as a business analyst, as a product owner, as a associate business analyst, I'm writing down the user story. I have to make sure कि भाई मेरी ही user story से design होगा, development होगी और testing होगी. यानी कि user story से ही wireframes बनेंगे, UI UX बनेगा, UI UX बनेगा, डिजाइन बनेगा, वायर फ्रेम्स बनेंगे and accordingly there will be, development front end and back end as per the expectations, and there will be manual testing accordingly. तो वो टेस्ट केसेस भी मेरी उससे बनेंगे. So this is how important a user story is all about. That is why जब मैं user stories की documentation करूँगा, then you would be able to understand that how lengthy and self-explanatory it would be, via which the designers, developers, and testers, they would be able to have their work quite 90% easy. ठीक है, guys? Any question, any doubt, any ambiguity, any issues as of now? Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe anything.
No.
Just one out of context thing.
Anji, Shine, please.
The document you were sharing, I was unable to find that. If you could share that again on WhatsApp.
Which document?
Just the previous one which you were showing yesterday and today as well.
This one, na?
Yeah.
Curriculum.
Yeah.
ठीक है, I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you.
लखन भाई, I'll share it to you. ठीक है, वैसे तो अभी यूजर स्टोरी शेयर करूंगा तो lot of people would get confused, but still you have asked. So if I go here, यहाँ पे important documents. So, ठीक है, मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है लखन भाई. So this is what specific user story is all about. ठीक है, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ जो मैं during the session बनाता हूँ. ठीक है, जैसे कि एक सिंपल सी यूजर स्टोरी है, कंटेंट्स ऑफ यूजर स्टोरी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन. टाइटल होना चाहिए स्टोरी लाइनर, एक्सप्लेनेशन और डिस्क्रिप्शन, स्टेप्स विच इज CRUD ऑपरेशन जो हमारे यूज केस हो जाते हैं, वायर फ्रेम्स, एक्सेप्टेंस क्राइटेरिया, डेटाबेस एंड सिस्टम ऑडिट लॉग. ठीक है, तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे टाइटल कर रहा हूँ इनबॉक्स का, यानी कि एडिट मेल ऑप्शन, परसोना हो जाएंगे, स्टोरी लाइनर, एक्सप्लेनेशन, ये स्टेप्स में आ जाएंगे हमारे होम, गो टू लॉग इन, होम पेज, इनबॉक्स. तो लॉग इन करके इनबॉक्स में आया, यहाँ पे गए, यहाँ पे मैंने ये देखा, ये सारे एक्शंस हो गए. देन क्लिक ऑन द एडिट बटन, एडिट मेल, CRUD operations, create and edit, view, ये सारा है. दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ यूजर स्टोरी दैट वी नीड टू क्रिएट. ठीक है, बट ये हम आगे करेंगे in terms of documentation sprint में, in terms of documentation training में, because अभी मैं बताऊंगा तो it will be very confusing. ठीक है, then comes guys, जब हमने टेस्ट रिक्वायरमेंट सारी अचीव कर ली और हमने डिफाइन कर लिया कि क्या एस्टिमेशन है उसका, देन वी डू द स्प्रिंट टेस्ट प्लानिंग, जहाँ पे हम सारे टेस्टिंग कब करनी है उसकी टिकट्स बना ली. when do we need to perform the manual testing and automation testing, for functional testing and non-functional testing and automation testing and manual testing, then we'll do the test case documentation. यानी कि हम टेस्ट केस डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करेंगे, टेस्ट सिनेरियोज के अकॉर्डिंगली, रिग्रेशन पैक्स करेंगे फॉर रिग्रेशन टेस्टिंग, रिलीज नोट्स बनाएंगे फॉर रिग्रेशन टेस्टिंग अकॉर्डिंगली, एंड देन विल क्रिएट द टेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट. तो हमारा पहले से ही होता है, एक अलग अलग तरीके के एनवायरनमेंट्स होते हैं which we'll study later on. ठीक है, जहाँ पे in test environment setup we will start the test execution, जहाँ पे हम करेंगे manual testing and automation testing, and as per the manual testing and automation testing we'll start creating the test closures. ठीक है, so wherein as per the expected result which is equal to actual result which is output, as per the manual testing and automation testing. Whether it is passed, good to go. If not, then we'll carry on with the validation and resolution to it so that we can get all the test cases clear and pass so that when we are performing the final testing, which is user acceptance testing with the client, it should be bugless and flawless. ठीक है? Guys, any question, any doubt, any ambiguity, any issues?
So, Rohit bhai, Mohit here. So, does BA has to write the test cases and test script in the testing part?
देखो मोहित भाई, वैसे तो it totally depends upon company to company, ठीक है? But the way I am training you and the way I want you to project yourself is that ki you are a BA plus QA plus basic level DA. Okay, so that means you are able to and you know how to create test cases, regression packs, and release notes for functional testing, regression testing, and user acceptance testing. ये मैं आपको बताऊंगा. वैसे when you go to a big organization, there are separate testers, there are separate line of business, there are separate dedicated people who perform the individual task for individual activities. Okay, but as a business analyst, you should be aware of manual testing and test cases and regression packs and user acceptance testing. ठीक है, मोहित भाई now.
Yes, got it.
हाँ जी शिवेश भाई.
Yeah, Bhaiji, yeah, I need to, understand that is it like mandatory for business analysts to have the knowledge of testing or maybe, have the
भाई mandatory तो ऐसा कुछ
working
होता
of
नहीं
the
है, लेकिन
tester?
it is a value addition, it is a upgradation to your candidature whilst giving interviews that a BA should know QA. आप जब इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट करोगे और once you have the Google Drive access, when you go to the recording, then you would know in the real time environment, it is very beneficial that a business analyst should be a quality analyst or at least a manual tester.
And
अब
is
जैसे
it
BA
like
BA से काम नहीं
also
चलेगा भाई.
mandatory to do the unit testing? I mean, have the knowledge of unit testing, which is done by developers.
यूनिट टेस्टिंग क्या होती है? एक सिंपल सी मैनुअल टेस्टिंग है भाई. और वैसे भी यूनिट टेस्टिंग का मैंने जिक्र किया ही नहीं, बिकॉज यूनिट टेस्टिंग इज बीइंग डन बाय द डेवलपर फ्रॉम द वेरी हाई लेवल एंड वेग लेवल टेस्टिंग. अगर आप डेवलपर हो, आपने चैट बटन बनाया, तो आप बोलोगे यार देख तो रहा है सही, चल तो रहा है सही, मैंने कर ली. आप बस ये बोलोगे, लिटरली ऐसे ही बोलते हैं डेवलपर्स. ठीक है, एंड देन यू से ठीक है अब मैं अपने आप टेस्ट करूंगा. तो आई एज अ business analyst, I as a manual tester, I as a QA, I will go ahead and look each and every button, each and every option, each and every icon that is there. ठीक है शिवेश भाई and all.
Rohit, one more question.
हाँ जी
So,
वंशिका.
Rohit, in these testings, do we have to have more of a technical knowledge? Because me being a non-technical background, so I have
नहीं
got
नहीं, इसमें क्या टेक्निकल? मैनुअल
the
टेस्टर कहाँ से
basically just
टेक्निकल हो गया?
like this is the simple testing only, na? Like the process, and we are testing
That's
as the
why,
user will.
yeah, that's why I mentioned specifically that no need for automation testing. At least manual tester आप होने चाहिए.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
हाँ जी लगन भाई.
Rohit, my question is like the documents you were showing about user stories, and I was going through the data you have shared over the Gmail, right? Over OneDrive. I was going through the business requirement document as well. So my
Yes,
question
yes.
is, does any company or any particular company, or suppose if you're working in any XYZ company, do they have any kind of a format of these documents, or do we need to create from scratch?
नहीं देखो, let's say लखन भाई you have joined. ठीक है, so you'll definitely ask or you will be definitely given some artifacts and documents. Okay. वो आपको artifacts or documents or knowledge transfer or these templates of documents will provide so that you would be able to understand their templates. ठीक है और else वो usually मतलब 20-30% scenario में they say कि Lakan you carry on with your documentation. I will give you some artifacts and you create the business requirement document according to your understanding. Then they'll check your documentation level and they'll give you, ठीक है Lakan, I understand, we understood your documentation culture. Now this is the template and according to this, now create the document. So yes, of course, every company, they follow their own documentation culture. They have their own templates, they have their own style, and they will provide that information. But yes, in a generic, in a common way, these are the syntax, these are the contents, these are the templates that maximum companies they use it. But that doesn't mean that they are using BRD, FRD, SRS user stories altogether. Some company might use it, some company they only carry on with BRD, some only carry on with FRD, some only carry on with user stories. But as a business analyst, you should know all the templates and all the contents.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
ठीक है भाई. ठीक है, guys, I have one important interview, 4 o'clock, and I have to be the part of it. So I'll share this recording and let's catch up at Saturday ko, I guess it's Raksha Bandhan, so I don't think so that the trainer would be available. So I'll let you know guys by Friday AOD that we'll have the session or not. Saturday 6 to 8 p.m. Otherwise Sunday 6 to 8 is confirmed. और सैटरडे को आई हैव टू चेक बिकॉज आई नो कि आप लोगों के अपने भी कुछ प्लान्स होंगे राखी और रक्षाबंधन के तो आई इन्फॉर्म यू अकॉर्डिंगली बट यस ऑफ कोर्स फ्राइडे एओडी तक मैं इन्फॉर्म कर दूंगा ठीक है ऑलराइट गाइस
Thank you, Rohit.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
You're
Rohit.
welcome. Thank you so much guys. Stay
Thank
safe
you.
and be safe. I'll share this recording and stay safe and be safe guys. Have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.